WOVU LP, Cleveland.
This is Open Door with Vince Robinson. In-depth conversations with people who are making a difference in the lives of others here and around the world. Culture is at the heart of who you are. Know your culture, find yourself on Open Door with Vince Robinson.
Greetings and welcome to Open Door. This is Vince Robinson, and my guest is vibraphonist Cecil Rucker. Cecil is a fixture in Cleveland. I've known him from performing with Eddie Baccus Sr. and Perry Williams III and Shirley Cook and the sessions that they've had at the Wolf's Den before they closed down every Friday night. You could look forward to coming to the Wolf's Den and hearing this fantastic vibraphonist. Cecil Rucker Jr., welcome to Open Door.
Hey man, glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. And this is a show about folks telling their life stories, and we've kind of exposed your life in a directory that was printed a couple years ago. You were amongst 40 artists that were recognized in a directory called Black Local Artists of Cleveland, Kuumba. And I had the pleasure of writing your biography. So I know a little bit about you, but we want to share your story with the world. So I think I recall that you grew up in Cleveland, and I know that you have that pedigree of the different schools that you went to. So why don't we go ahead and rep your hood, and then we can get on to your career as a musician.
Okay, sure. I was born here in Cleveland, Ohio in 1955, and I took up music when I was 13 years old, playing the drums. And I was in 7th grade when I started getting into bands and high school bands and stuff like that. I playing the drums in drum and bugle corps, learning all the rudiments and carrying on from there. And then jumped real quick to 1974. I met a guy named Dennis Davis, a drummer, who was playing with Stevie Wonder and Roy Ayers at that time. And Roy Ayers was playing at the club on Hayden. Now, man, I want to say East Town. And they were there for 5 nights. And Roy was, matter of fact, I think Roy was living here in Cleveland, man, because it was so many musicians playing with him, Kevin Brown, David Johnson. It was so many cats playing with Roy at that time. And I think David Johnson made an album with him. Well, anyway, making a long story short, I hooked up with Dennis Davis. He passed not too long ago. He sang and played drums. And so he hooked me up with Roy. And so at the meantime, I was at Tri-C debating about going to Berkeley School of Music. And I was like, well, hey, man, my money ain't right and my grades ain't right. So I stay here. Well, the teacher told me, look, if you want a grade out of my class, Mr. Cox, that's what was his name, the teacher that was teaching down at the Tri-C. It was Mr. Cox and Miss White was teaching at that time. And Cox told me, if you want a grade on the vibes, man, you're going to have to play the vibes. So meantime, I met Dennis Davis, and we was talking drum talk, and they introduced me to Roy. And Roy told me, say, look, Cecil, I help you with the vibes, man, but you got to have a set. So, man, luckily I was working at Cleveland Clinic at that time, and, man, made one phone call a year up on Broadway music store. They had a set of vibes. Still had a set right now today. And they had, and I bought it. So Roy started showing me some couple things, man, and boom, hey, man, it went from there. Next thing I know, I had met Sam Blackshaw. And Sam Blackshaw, it was Sam Blackshaw and his brother Billy Blackshaw and Vanessa Rubin. And we were all playing together. And that was the first organ group that I was playing with. And then beyond that, I started performing with many musicians and studying under Ace Carter and many other professional musicians. It was all helping me. And plus, Tracy had a beautiful program with Ernie Cribb in there. With Ernie Cribb and them, and he was running the Tri-C music department, jazz music department at that time. So many cats was coming in there, man. They was coming in like roaches, man. They was coming in there, and man, we was learning and playing with them, getting all kind of exposures. And a matter of fact, a lot of them just recently deceased. Curtis Fuller, oh man, some brothers from Detroit. Oh man, I can just go on and on and on. Yes. So in the meantime, I hooked up with Eddie because I had a problem with my band because we had 5 pieces. And at that time I had Kevin Muhammad, Musa, Abdullah, Ed Washington on drums, and Mike Miller, I think. And at that time, we had just too many cats in the band. And the club owner started barking with me about, hey, man, can you bring the band down? So I went with the organ group. And so that's how me and Eddie hooked up. And Eddie's been together for years now. So that's just how that went.
Yeah. So with the organ group, it would only require 3 because
the bass player
Eddie was playing bass for you and organ at the same time.
Man, hey man, that thing was it was a low blow. But if you remember back in the days, a lot of clubs had organs in it. So that they would take care of the organ before they took care of the piano. So, and most of the pianos would be out of tune. So, but the organ would be there. So, it just made it at that time. It made it more convenient to get an organ player.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as a keyboardist, it's really convenient for us because all we got to do is walk in and sit down. I mean, that's the best possible gig you could get. Oh, let me play your piano. Oh, okay. let me play the organ. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, but now the piano might not be in tune.
Right,
now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was the low blow on that.
Yeah, right. And the club owner is probably too cheap to get it tuned on a regular basis.
Right.
See, so I want to back up because you dropped a lot of names, and one of the first major names that you dropped was Dennis Davis, and then you dropped Roy Ayers' name. So you said that you were connected with Dennis because he was a drummer, and he connected you with Roy, who's obviously the vibraphonist. You have been playing rhythms, and then you move over to a melodic instrument. Can you talk about what the transition was from playing beats? And I know that you have tones when you play drums, so you actually do play notes on the drums. But going toward
not like that.
Yeah, not like that. So talk about what the transition from playing drums to playing the vibraphone was like.
Well, I mean, at that time, man, I was Billy Cobham band, man. Oh man, my Hibiscus Orchestra. I thought he was the greatest drummer I could ever think of. He was playing 36 rudiments, man, on those drums, man, and they was clean and carrying on. And I was like, wow, this is what's happening. And so this is the new drum thing, you know what I'm saying? And plus using the rudiments, you know what I'm saying? And then I got so wrapped up in that. I'm also being tied up with the drum and bugle corps, you know, that with Big Bill Grimes and stuff like that. Traveling with him, and we was doing all these rudiment stuff. And then coming to the vibes, the keyboard, which I was been elected for my long time. Cause my mother was trying to get me to play piano, and I wasn't interested in that, man. And I hate today that I wished I would have went on took that piano, you know. And so going to the vibes and playing the drums. Well, you playing the drums with the 2 mallets or the 4 mallets or whatever, but dictations of the notes and scales and chords and all that stuff, that's a whole nother effect. And then memorizing the keyboard. You have to know that. You got to know the white keys from the black keys. That was a whole nother thing, man. And then on the vibes, you didn't have the notes on top of it. The notes was up on the bottom of it. So you had to like C sharp, look up under the key to find out where C sharp was. You know what I'm saying? So that was the beginning of that, So it was a crawl.
Okay. But obviously you made the transition and you embraced it. Have you ever regretted stepping away from playing the drums?
Oh, no. Only thing I would regret it was carrying all those pieces.
Yeah, so now you basically...
That's the only thing I regretted. But no, I love the drums. But the thing about it, I just totally regretted carrying all those pieces, being the last one to leave.
Yeah.
But
so now you just wheel the one piece in and...
oh, man. Yeah. Now I've learned to roll the one piece in and, and roll it back out. At first, I was breaking it all the way down,
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing more tearing up the instrument than,
Okay.
I'm breaking it up and down,
Okay. This might be premature for this conversation, but have you ever thought of moving towards some type of an electronic instrument? I know there are some drummers who play electronic drums just because it's so much easier to move that, set it up, and you still get the authenticity in terms of sound from that type of an instrument. But have you ever thought of maybe moving towards a more lightweight, compact instrument that will allow you to play vibraphone?
Not really. I think I'm old school. I'm into the acoustic effect of it and the effects, the sounds and of acoustic, you know what I'm saying? And the Steinway, that's it,
Yeah.
They love that compared to the electronic keyboards. I mean, that's what I hear. So
Yeah.
It's like the vibes. So, I mean, attack on the vibes and attack on a cat or something like this, kind of a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, I really relate to that because, I play an 88 key keyboard, but my keyboard has weighted keys. And I know most of the guys in Cleveland who are playing keyboards are not playing weighted keys. They're basically playing synthesizers, but I would much rather sit down and play a $30,000 Steinway Grand than to play that $3,000 or $4,000 Yamaha motif or the Roland or whatever. I mean, I would rather play piano than anything. But on the other hand, I'm using my keyboard now to play bass, which is why I'm looking so forward to doing a performance with you, because the last time we did it, I was just playing an electric piano voice on the keyboard and, letting that serve as the bass. But now I can play upright bass and upright piano at the same time, and I cannot begin to tell you how liberating it is. Cecil, we're going to take a break right now and come back on the other side of this, but this is fascinating conversation. You're listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson on 95.9 FM WOVU. My guest is Cecil Rucker Jr. A vibraphonist supreme. I was trying to focus on getting that supreme there. Vibraphonist supreme right here in Cleveland, Ohio. We'll be right back after this.
The Alcohol and Drug Addiction and Mental Health Services Board, also known as the Adams Board of Cuyahoga County, wants everyone to stay safe. If the stress of the pandemic is overwhelming, help is available. Call the 24-hour crisis hotline at 216-623-6888. That's 216-623-6888. If you are using drugs, remember all drugs may contain the highly addictive substance fentanyl. Please test your drugs and never use drugs alone. Carry Narcan in case you are witness to an overdose. And call the 24-hour crisis and referral hotline when you are ready for help. It's 216-623-6888. Again, it's 216-623-6888. This message is brought to you by the Adams Board of Cuyahoga County and WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
You're listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson and my guest, vibraphonist Cecil Rucker Jr. Before we took the break, we were just talking about you being old school and not really being interested in playing those newfangled instruments that will probably weigh about 5 pounds or something like that. But I would have to imagine that, even though you go through what you go through to bring your instrument to the various places that you play, it's definitely worth the effort.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes. So over the years, you've been able to connect with folks like Dennis Davis, who, one of my favorite Roy Ayers albums is Vibrations.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I love Everybody Loves the Sunshine. I love the Red, Black, and Green album. I love this Motherland album, but there was something about that Vibrations album, and Dennis Davis's name was all over it. So when you said Dennis Davis, I knew exactly who you were talking about the first time you told me about it.
What? Yeah, he scared me because he sounded like he sounded like Stevie Wonder because he sang. Mm-hmm. And the thing was with me and Dennis Davis and Roy Ayers, I don't sing, so. Well,
no, you do sing. You just don't sing for the mic, because
right.
I hear you. I hear you. And
okay.
it's
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Dennis was a bad dude, man. And I'm blessed, man, because I met some bad cats. Some of them gone now, but Spencer Thomas we had here in Cleveland, Neil Creaky we had here in Cleveland, man. I was hanging with those cats trying to learn something, man. And back in those days, man, it was weird, man. It was so weird how things have changed. JJ, I was just talking to him not too long ago, and him and Billy Greenwich used to work at a Costello music store. I don't know if you remember that. I used to be 105 in Euclid. And they'd be out there writing music, man. At that time, it was weird. They would take an album. They would, hey, man, let me borrow your album. And they'd borrow your album and scratch it all up, man, just to get the parts out of that. The tune, you know what I'm saying? Because there wasn't no fake books then, you know what I'm saying? And this was like in the 70s, man. The fake books must have came out in the 80s or something. But man, cats was like scratching albums up, man, like left and right. Man, hey, put that back. And you trying to keep a clean album so you can listen to it for yourself. But these cats were tearing up albums to learn. Mm. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it was a big difference. It was a big difference in the music thing back then. It was like, oh man, cats was writing and oh man, shit. Oh man, it was devastating. And then it was more militant at that time too, because man, if you wasn't serious about trying to learn this music, man, they'd dog you out. Mm. Man, you had to be sincere, man. If you really want to know C major scale, well, tell me the notes in it,
Right.
And then we can talk,
Yeah.
And then I show you how to play C, E, G, B, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The chords, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, they was militant, man. They was, oh, man.
Yeah.
I had a Otis Harris, he died. I had a album. What album did I have? A Wayne Shorter, Adam Apple. Man, I had just got it. And he came by the house, and I was messing with it. Next thing I know, he was tearing my album up, trying to write the part out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
and then didn't have no money to pay me back for the album, but he done scratched my album to get that part out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel your pain. I'm a former DJ, and I probably have about 1,000 albums here at the house. But that I have experienced loaning someone an album and getting it back, and they didn't really appreciate the fact that if I were to play that album publicly, you're going to hear a whole bunch of scratching and a whole, It was it's just blasphemy to do that to an album. But now we don't even touch our music product. We just press a button and we hear what we hear. But I want you to talk about the challenge of learning new music, especially if there is no written script in front of you. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've had the experience where somebody has said, well, can you play such and such? And I'll say, well, do you have a chart? And they'll say no, but they'll send me a music file, and I'm supposed to, like you were just saying, they listen to the album over and over and over again and write it out. Talk about working with folks who don't read and just interpret music sonically. What kind of a challenge does that present to you as a musician?
Oh, it's a well, you know, you got your ear thing that you're gonna always have, and so the ear thing, and then today, man, they got so much stuff going on, man, Vince, that I mean, you can go on. You can go on YouTube, and man, you can learn so much from there. And I mean, it's just wide open now. It's so easy now. Playing to learn music now, it's very easy, you know. But putting the time into it is what's the hard thing about it, you know. It's putting the time into it, but the information is right there.
Right.
The information is right there.
Well,
you know?
what happens with me is I want to learn a song, and I might go to YouTube to see if there's a tutorial, you know, and they'll play the song, but they won't tell you what the chords are. You know?
Oh, right. Well, you just gotta bust your ear and break that down, slow it down. Yeah. You gotta go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know?
I just wish that there was just a great big song book, you know, that would have the songs that are important to us. Like, I'm a Patrice Rushen fan. You know, if I could find a Patrice Rushen song book with the chords and, you know, the melody and all of that, I'd be playing Patrice Rushen, but I have to listen to the song and then try to translate it to what my ears hear. And, you know, I mean, as a vibraphonist, you're playing a keyboard of sorts, you know, and there are so many different inversions of chords and, you know, complementary keys.
Well, here's the problem I went through. Okay, that's the problem I went through back with the album scratching and carrying on back in the days when the cats didn't have the fake books. Well, what happened, man, when the fake book came out, man, cats was arguing, man, that's the wrong chord. That's the wrong note. If you didn't know, you know, you had to listen to what this cat was saying. And if he'd been around, you would listen to what he was saying, you know. That was the wrong chord. It should have been a ninth there. It should have been a 13 there. It should have been an A flat there. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, well, so it was some of the challenges you had to go through, but you just had to use your own judgment. But, I mean, like, that's just, some of the battles and scars you had to go through.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know,
speaking of battles and scars, we have a whole year to reflect on that. We basically just got sat down and said, y'all can't do nothing till we say it's okay. And,
right.
You know, so in the next few moments, if you don't mind, just talk about, you know, what happened during the past year. I know you retired from your job, your day job, you know, so you have a new sense of freedom. And so you had all that free time. So what was life like for Cecil Rucker during what we're calling the pandemic?
Oh, man, it was devastating. It was very hard, man. But the thing was like, it was kind of a shocking thing. But then when things got out and all the musicians was talking and like ain't nothing happening, then the first thing that came to your thing was to tighten up your thing. You know what I'm saying? So the scary part now is that after this year's done gone and they're trying to open up things, we should got a little bit more ahead of whatever little weakness we had on our instruments. You see what I'm saying? It should see a little bit of improvement. okay? Because we had a whole year to tighten that up. And that's the hard part. Now to realize that, okay, the year is over with now. So what you've been doing. The second part is see how everything's gonna blow up. And matter of fact, I heard something from Warren Wolf. He was on Facebook or something like Bad Player, and he was saying he was back up in New York, and they asking some of the musicians if they had their shots. If they ain't got their shot, they couldn't play. So he had to make some routes. So I'm saying, hey, everybody get that shot, man. Don't run away from it, because if you really want to get the shot. But if you don't, we better shut things back down again, and here we are again. But, it's getting serious. It's getting very, very serious, because I was trying to get a friend of mine, man, was telling me about getting on the boat for I retired from the city of Cleveland, and on the working on a cruise ship. And I was going to audition for that, man, and boom, that was the first that went down. So, which is a good thing now. They're asking people to show their card to get back on the cruise ship, So that's one good thing. You got to do it you ain't doing it on the plane, but once they started showing those IDs and getting things back up, I mean, that's a proof for us to be out here 24/7. But if they don't take care of that shot business, you know what I'm saying? Someone could come back in here and close everything back down.
Okay, well,
and so all the musicians,
yeah.
So we ain't got nothing but practice time. So hey,
Okay. Well, I can tell you that I've done a lot of shedding in the past year, and I'm really happy about the progress that has occurred. And as a matter of fact, I think I may have shared a music file or two with you. You did. And I'm sure I'm going to share a bit more music with you before we play, because I really like the idea of doing original music and, just redefining other songs, because, my thing is not other people's music. I don't know anybody better than I know me, and it's not a chore for me to play me. Now, for me to sit down and try to repeat or recreate something that Herbie Hancock or Art Tatum or Oscar Peterson did, that ain't gonna happen. But I can definitely play Vince Robinson. And the other thing that I wanted to say was, bruh, I don't know if there's much more improvement for you. I mean, I'm sure that you have grown somehow in the past year.
Man, it's always an improvement, man. It's always, man. I'm not a box. It's always improvement. I was just listening to Bobby Hutcherson last night I just put on the Facebook, man. He did this concert back in 1990, and man, he did this tune called I can't even think of the tune right now, but it's so bad, man. His approach of the tune, and it's it's out of sight. It's out of sight.
Well, I'm going to have to go to Spotify after we conclude this interview so I can listen to some Bobby Hutcherson, since you inspired me to do that. But right now, we're going to step away for a few moments.
My Foolish Heart.
Okay. I'll check it out. You're listening to Open Door on 95.9 FM WOB. I'm Vince Robinson. We're having a great conversation with vibraphonist Cecil Rucker Jr. We'll be right back after this. What can you do in the battle against COVID-19? Your first task, wear a mask, protect yourself and others. Armor up, armor up. Give those hands a 20-second shower with soap and water. Armor up, armor up. Give others space 6 feet just in case. Armor up, armor up. Get good nutrition, ingest for digestion. Armor up, armor up. Vitamin C, D3, and more. Armor up, armor up. Elderberries, zinc, and echinacea from the store. Armor up, armor up. Get some fresh air. Go climb some stairs. Armor up, armor up. Let go of stress. Make sure you rest. Armor up, armor up. Your breath methods to key to life, strengthen your immune system, follow the guidelines, and win the battle against COVID-19.
Armor up, armor up.
Welcome back to Open Door. Vince Robinson with vibraphonist Cecil Rucker Jr. And he just dropped on me My Foolish Heart, Bobby Hutcherson. I'm going to Spotify. I'm going to pull up that tune and appreciate it. And who knows, maybe I'll move on to some Milt Jackson. Maybe I'll listen to some contemporary Warren Wolf. Maybe someday I'll be able to go to Spotify and listen to Cecil Rucker Jr. How about that?
That sounds like a month.
Okay. Have you ever endeavored to create significant product? I know we've had a conversation about something that you had recorded, and but I don't know you to have a discography, so to speak. But is that something that might be on your bucket list?
It's on my bucket list now because I got nothing but time.
Okay. And
it's on the bucket list right now. It's a nothing but time.
Okay. So
yeah.
Are you going to have to twist arms to get folks in the studio, or you got folks who are sitting there with their feet on the starting blocks ready to go?
Well, it's both of them. It's both of them. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to do some things for somebody else, and then just trying to find some stuff for myself. So, that's how I've been doing lately, doing things for somebody else. But lately I'm getting ready to go back in there and see if I can do something for me now and twist some arms myself.
Okay. So when in the first segment you talked about your relationship with Eddie Baccus Sr. and how you started doing the trio thing because someone told you, well, you got too many players, and that translates to I don't want to pay all y'all, so
right.
So bring it down a little bit, and then they capitalize on everybody coming to see you, and they pay for drinks and they pay for food and they make money hand over fist while they pay you peanuts. That's mm-hmm. the way that goes down. But
right.
Talk about how you connected with Eddie and talk about how you two have evolved in terms of your musical relationship.
Oh, sure. Oh, well, like I said, my first organist group I played with was Sam Blackshaw and Billy Blackshaw and Vanessa Rubin. And it was, oh man, at that time it was about 4 organ groups during that time that were playing organ here in Cleveland on a regular basis because those guys were like 5 days a night, you know what I'm saying? And so what happens is that when I got with Eddie, it was a wonderful thing, well, Sam Blackshaw had passed, and so next thing, me and Eddie would start doing something, occasionally. It was some union gigs we were doing because I was back in the union then, and we got together, started doing something, and then I was doing something. It was weird, but I met a lot of beautiful musicians through Eddie, though, man, and it's been a wonderful journey. You know what I'm saying? It still is a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
And man, and then we had his son was playing with us too at that time, Eddie Baccus Jr. So it was really, really a treat. So we had a lot of different ideas, but it was really nice. And Eddie was like a walking encyclopedia, in this music situation. I mean, he got some tunes that you wouldn't even think about, but he's just a very creative person. Very creative.
Well, I witnessed.
We had Barbara Cabell playing with us too.
Mm-hmm.
He passed too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say I witnessed the performance that you all did at the Beachland Ballroom a few weeks ago, and it kind of occurred to me that in light of the fact that Eddie doesn't read, all that music is just in his head, and I was standing on stage to observe the way you interacted with him and your bandmates and whatnot, and you would be standing there and you would actually suggest a tune to him, and all he had to do was visit his mental Rolodex and play the first key. But, I also observed the fact that you play a significant role in managing his experience because, I watched him set up his keyboard, and it's just amazing to me that, I'm sure he's been doing it for so long that he would, know what to do, where to put what and whatnot. But then came that whole idea of him navigating a keyboard that he's not reading. And I know that at one point there was some difficulty in accessing the sounds that he wanted. So, you guys have a very unique relationship in that regard.
Oh yeah, definitely. It is definitely a relationship because, like I say, he knows. He knows how to count those things on that keyboard. I don't know how many times he got to count on to bring the sound that he wants 8 times or 10 times or whatever it is. But you got to let him do his thing, and he knows he wants that split keyboard. So and so, but. That's, you saw him, and that's just usually how he works it out. And sometimes it goes out. But he's an organist. And so he likes the B3 organ.
Mm-hmm.
He prefers that better than he does the electronics because he ain't got to go through all that. But carrying the electronics is much easier than carrying the B3 organ around.
Right. And when he plays the B3, is he using the foot pedals to play bass?
Oh man, he's using it all.
Yeah.
He's very unique. He's using it all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's using it all.
Okay.
He ain't shortcutting up on nut. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
That's why him and Roland Kirk was together for a while. But man, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then this is Cleveland history that folks may not know about, but Rahsaan Roland Kirk and Eddie Baccus Sr. So Eddie is playing the Hammond B3 for Rahsaan Roland Kirk.
Exactly. Or whatever. I think they were playing another organ too. I can't even think of that organ way back in the day, but I know he said that sometimes the club didn't have an organ. They had that other kind of organ. I can't think of the name of it, but they would. I can't think of it.
Okay.
But some musician might get on the phone and say something about it. But
okay.
Yeah.
So you also, over the years, because of your association with Eddie, you've been working with vocalist Shirley Cook. Could you talk about your relationship with her and how you all have evolved over the years?
Yeah, well, like I said, I started off with Vanessa Rubin. And Shirley Cook and Ron Davis and all of them, they were doing something on another side, but her and Eddie and them was performing. I think they were doing something down under or something like that.
6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under, yeah. They were doing things down there. I would go down there and sit in with them a couple of times, you know what I'm saying, when I wasn't working. That's when I had my band, so what happened, Shirley would get some things and so we'd be just come working together, so that's just, Shirley and, when you see one, you see all Mike Katie, you see Shirley, Ron Davis, the whole Evelyn Wright, Kai Allen,
Right.
Yeah.
And
you go, what happened?
Right. And with Vanessa, again, we're talking about somebody who had a recording contract with Columbia Records, living as a musician in New York. Vanessa is a national act, so to speak, a national. So for you to have been with her, and I'm sure that there will come a point in time, in the future that you will reconnect with her, hopefully, to do some kind of music. What was the experience like for you working with Vanessa?
It was fun. It was fun. Back in that days, it was really fun. She had us dressing up in tuxedos and everything. We was working at Darring's and all kind of clubs, you know what I'm saying, here in Cleveland before she left to New York, you know. So we was doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And also we had, and little Jimmy Scott would come to the gig and sit in with us and with Sam and us, you know. I mean, man, it was a blessing with the musicians back then.
Yeah.
Little Jimmy Scott.
Mm-hmm. In that you rub shoulders with those kinds of folks, have you ever thought about having the possibility to tour on a national basis, or has it been cool for you to just be able to live your life and, you know, work your job and play your music?
Well, like I said, I had some ups and downs because I had to take care of my father and my mother, and so I was kind of stuck here for a minute. So I dealt with that issue and worked, you know, the day job. So, you know, that was really basically what happened. But I kept the music going some kind of way. But I had to deal with some illness and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, I'm the oldest, so I was the one stuck with it. So that's how that went down. But I ain't mad about it. But, hey, I met a lot of cats, you know.
Mm-hmm. Who, at this point, would you say, what was the best situation for you in terms of configurations of your group or groups that you played with?
Well, with me and Eddie and Cabell, we just, I mean, Marvin Cabell and little Eddie Jr., we was covering a lot of ground, you know. So, I mean, and Greg Bandy, we was all covering a lot of ground back then. So, you know, we was going here, you know, doing a little traveling and we was doing a whole lot of stuff that a lot of people didn't even think about we were doing, you know. Like we went to Chicago and played for Muhammad, you know.
You played for Muhammad Ali?
No, Wallace Muhammad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we played for his big affair. They sent for us to come down there and play for that. We went to Beaver Falls and did some things down there. Then Johnny Lido, we played for his memorial down there. I mean, it was so much stuff that we done did. I call it under the table because, I mean, we didn't have time to mention it. We went out here trying to promote nothing. We were just because it wasn't really our affair to promote, you know.
Okay.
So it was like, hey, you know, it's like you asked me to do a wedding for you, and hey, how would you play at my wedding? Well, I can't invite nobody to come to your wedding. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was that type of vibe, but it was, I mean, you know, some of the shows we was doing when cats we met, it was really nice.
Okay. Well, you've had an amazing career as a musician, and you've.
Oh, don't forget about Kenny Davis. Okay. You know, I mean, we had. Oh man, no, I can't forget these cats, man. But everybody was around.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, all of it.
Yeah. I can imagine that there have been quite a few folks that you've shared stages with. And, you know, I just want to say that you have been a real blessing to this community and the joy that you've brought to people through the music that you play and continue to do so. So at this point, I want to wish you continued success in what you do. I'm looking forward.
Can I say one thing?
Okay.
The lowest thing I ever had in music in my life was me and Reggie Pittman went down to see Lionel Hampton, and we was just kicking it. And so Lionel let us come in, you know, and man, me and Lionel rapping, and I'm, you know, trying to learn something from Hamp, you know, Grit. And next thing I know, man, this is the honest to God truth, man. Hamp say, Reg, if you call me tomorrow, you go on the road with me. And man, I'm so like, oh man, I wish I could go. But you can't have two vibe players on the band.
Okay.
But that's the situation with me and Reggie Pittman. And I just thought about that. And I think I heard you and Reggie Pittman talking on the radio.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, Cecil, you're going to make me do another segment, man. I got to go to break because we're limited in how long we can go. So I'm going to have to stop here, and we're going to have to we're going to have to pick up on that when we come back. You're listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson and my guest Cecil Rucker Jr. We'll be right back on 95.9 FM WOVU.
Are you a renter in Cleveland and facing eviction? WOVU 95.9 FM, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and the Legal Aid Society wants you to know that you have rights. Certain Cleveland families have the right to an attorney in eviction cases. If you rent your home in Cleveland, have any kids living in that home, and meet low-income guidelines, free help is available. If you think you qualify, contact Legal Aid immediately at 216-687-1900. That's 216-687-1900. You can also apply by dialing 211 on your phone. After a quick screening, you'll know if you can get a lawyer's help for free. Learn more at freeevictionhelp.org. That's freeevictionhelp.org. This message is brought to you by the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Open Door with Vince Robinson and my guest, vibraphonist Cecil Rucker Jr. Before we took the break, he was telling me about an experience that he had with Lionel Hampton and my good friend Reggie Pittman, who is actually in New Jersey right now doing his thing. I know he just posted some pictures to Facebook where they have named the street after the Isley Brothers, because many may not know that the Isley Brothers have history in the tri-state area. So you and Reggie were with Lionel Hampton, and Lionel says to you, "I want you to tour with me." And Reggie was able to take advantage of that opportunity. I know that because that's kind of been his claim to fame, that he played with Lionel Hampton in addition to everybody else that he's played with. Yeah. So what happened that you weren't able to take advantage of it? You went into it, but we didn't do it any justice. So tell us what was going through your mind.
It was a beautiful experience because at that time, me and Reggie go back. We was both, when I was telling you I was playing drums, he was in the drum and fiddle corps, and Big Joe Grimes drum and fiddle corps, he was playing horn. And so he would come down and he, like he was a horn player, so he would come out on the sets and be playing. And then after the gig is over or whatever was going on, we would go down. I said, well, hey man, I told him, hey man, I'm going to right here in the back. And we was down at the palace. So Reggie said, come on, man, yeah, I'll go on with you. So we went on down there. He got his horn with him, And so the cats from the band, they out there practicing. And so Reggie pulls his horn out, practicing with him. You know what I'm saying? So bam, So Grit is what we call him. So Grit said, hey, man, I'd like to take you with me. Bam. I'm like, damn. Excuse me. I said, wow. And so that's when I began to realize that, you don't need no two vibe players, because I sure wanted to go with them. And I thought it was my idea, since I wanted to go down there. I wanted to go too, but it don't work like that. So, that's just one of those type of things. Yeah. But oh man, it was a good experience, a very good experience.
Yes. For those who don't know, Lionel Hampton was a jazz vibraphonist in addition to being a pianist and a percussionist and also a band leader. So I think you referenced it before, it wouldn't make sense to have two vibraphonists, but I think about having two bass players on stage,
that's too different. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but they having two vibe players on stage too. But just saying, but Katrina doing your music, what I'm saying, you just want to be by yourself. You don't want to. Unless you're doing a certain tune like that, or duet or something like that. That's one other thing. But it's how, I guess how you sell your program, But yeah, because I remember one day me and Eddie Baccus was at Milt Jackson, and Milt told me, said, Cecil, don't you got a record player? You need to be working. So, I mean, hey, you know, I mean, those certain things are cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it is a unique situation in some ways, but you know, as I reflect on certain situations that I'm aware of, I know James Brown used 2 drummers. Earth, Wind and Fire used 2 drummers. There have been groups that have had 2 instrumentalists, 2 percussion instrumentalists who played the exact same thing. And, you know, I think it worked out in some ways because, you know, one drummer could take over and the other one could get a rest, or, you know, they could play off each other, you know. But then,
Miles Davis started that, you know, because he had Chick Corea and Keith Jarrett, both of them playing together. So I mean, yeah, that could be done. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it can't be done, but I mean, at that time, I mean, he was doing his thing. You know, the big band thing.
Right.
So you know, I mean, no, I'm not saying that it can't be done.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I got some things with Joe Locke and Bobby Hutcherson on YouTube doing things together.
Okay.
You know.
Well,
and Milt Jackson and Bobby Hutcherson doing things together. So I mean, the vibe things that's been done. You know, I'm saying, but you know.
Well, I'm going to challenge you to do this because, you know, Kevin Conwell plays drums and you play with Kevin from time to time. But Kevin is always talking about playing the vibes. You know, I don't know that I've seen Kevin play vibes publicly. Perhaps you remember the gig that you did when they honored George Forbes?
Oh yeah.
Did he play vibes on that date, or was it you stuck to the vibes and he stuck to the drums?
Well, no, he played. He didn't. He just while we were setting up, he was playing a couple
That's
tunes.
what I thought. That's my recollection of it. He played a little bit, but he didn't
but,
play.
I mean,
he didn't play while you guys
he
were
can't.
performing.
He can't. If he put himself up there to do it, you know what I'm saying, and get the band to back him up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. Well,
he could do.
Yeah, it wouldn't be difficult in that he has Niles McKinney performing in his group, and Niles is a drummer too.
Right.
And a phenomenal musician. I mean, Niles, I tell folks all the time, that brother is a genius, man.
Oh, man, definitely, man. With all of them, man. I have fun with all of them. Niles and Russell Thomas and, oh, man, Willie Ross. Now, Willie Ross, you got to watch out for. That's a bad boy there.
Yeah.
That's OJ's guy.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a long time. Willie Ross.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a phenomenal musician.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
phenomenal.
quite a character, too. I'm saying it on the air, you know, but
that's my guy.
People who know Willie, they know that he's quite a character. So I'm not saying anything that's untrue.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Former drummer Reggie Holmes, that was in my band before he made transition, used to tell me stories about Willie Ross. And I'm like, wow, what a legend. But I'm not going to go into what he told me about Willie Ross. But let's just put it this way. I know of Willie vicariously through someone else. But he is a phenomenal guitarist.
Player.
I mean, his repertoire of songs in his head and the accuracy with which he plays them and interprets them is nothing short of amazing. Can you think of any other folks that have been a joy for you to perform with?
Oh, well, when we was at the Sarah house, Toes used to come down there and sit in with us and play up to,
Did you say
Freddie Cole?
Did you say Foley or you said Freddie?
No, I said Freddie Cole.
Freddie Cole, okay.
Yeah, I mean, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was, man. I mean, you know.
Yeah, and
Cleveland is small. Cleveland is very small.
Again, that is a phenomenal musician. I think he made transition within the past couple of years. I was blessed to have done an interview with him. I met him at Nighttown, and we had a really good conversation. And then I recorded another interview with him, I guess a day or so later, because he was staying at a hotel down on Euclid Avenue in the Cleveland Clinic complex.
That's when he would come down to the.
He played at Nighttown a lot.
Yeah, he was at Nighttown, but we was at the. Oh man, I can't think of. Oh man, what's the name of the club right there on Carnegie? Come on, Cecil.
On Carnegie.
On Carnegie, yeah, 82nd Carnegie, famous Carnegie. I just said it. Dang.
Yeah, that's not ringing a bell. I know about the Cleveland Playhouse is down, or used to be there.
Right. And seafood. Come on.
Arts?
Not Arts. On Carnegie. It got caught on fire. They just tore it down.
Oh, Lancers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's come on. Lancers, man. We played down there so much. Yeah, that's where he used to come down all the time.
Okay. Well, where was
Before
he? Where was he from?
Where was he from?
Yeah.
Freddie?
Yeah.
Oh no, he was playing at Nighttown. But what
Okay.
he do when he was standing in the hotel, he'd come down to the Lancers
Oh, okay.
and eat and then play.
Oh, okay. What a
Yeah.
treat.
Man, what's big? That's what I'm saying. It was so much going on, man. I mean, we was just. I mean, it was. Oh man. And the Wolf Den. We had all kinds of cats coming through there. So
Okay. All right. What is it like post Wolf's Den? I mean, you had an every week gig, and now no more.
Well, Wolf Den was very special because that was the only black club that we had on Cedar that was performed, that had live entertainment in it. And so after that closed down, that's the end of the history of Cedar. If you really look at it, you know what I'm saying? If you go back in the history with Cedar, with all the music they had down there, man, Bob Toasted Town, the Douglas Club, and all that kind of stuff, and I can't name them all, but now there's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to share this with you, Cecil. My vision is for Larchmere Arts to become that place that people come to listen to jazz. Nighttown is down. You got some other venues that used to cater to jazz audiences, but we need to have a place that we can call our own. So, my plan is to have groups like Eddie's group and your group and other groups in that space. It's an intimate space. It's a beautiful space. Yeah, what I like about it is that it's small, and you don't have to play like you're at the stadium. You can play at a reasonable sound level, and everybody can hear and everybody can see, and and you've got a stage. A lot of the clubs that you play in, you're on the same level as the patrons, and it creates a different dynamic. But having that stage allows you to present yourselves in a certain way. So it's the perfect place for jazz, and we want it to be that place. And just want to let the listening audience know that we're going to have a serious conversation about setting you up with a date. And we'll look at doing what we just did this past weekend that you missed, but it was phenomenal. I had J.T. Lynch from Horns and Things, and I had Stephen E. Boyd of Hugh People Vocal Ensemble. So,
man, right on.
Yeah,
right on.
So, and then I had that amazing young drummer, Rashawn Blake.
Right on.
So, and I got to play bass, man. So I was in heaven, man. And I look forward to future trips to heaven with folks like you, because I just sit back and listen. I have to remember that I'm supposed to be playing, but I'm sitting there thinking, wow, man, this bro can really play that instrument. Cecil Rucker, it's been a joy to have you on the show, and as I attempted to tell you in the last segment, I wish you nothing but success, and I look forward to future performances with you and some of the folks who surround you and what you do so magnificently. Thanks for joining me on Open Door.
Thank you, man. And I wish you a bunch of success, too.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. Open Door on 95.9 FM WOVU. Know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and make today your best day. Peace.
Peace.